what's going on, family? Family, it's your boy 804, bringing you some more Jumpstart this morning. I haven't had much opportunity to play this set as I've recently started a new position a few weeks ago, so it's all still pretty fresh for me, which is always really exciting and fun. So we have rolled Smashing, Well-Read, and Feathered Friends. Now, I believe I have already played with Feathered Friends, as you can tell with the check mark on the packet land. So I'm more inclined to pick up one of the ones that I haven't already played with. I'm feeling like playing some blue. Alright, so we've got Predatory with a very cool forest. I love those fly traps on there. Very cool forest. Minions and spellcasting. So it kind of seems like spellcasting would be pretty synergistic here, but I think we'll go with minions. So let's see what we've got. Wow. So I actually saw a funny Reddit post actually earlier when they said they cast Curiosity on their Niv Mizzet, which was just really fun. I guess that's an infinite combo, and that's pretty sweet. I like that a lot, actually. So it looks like we've got kind of a black sacrifice theme here. That's a good common. I wonder what set that was in. I like that a lot. It's basically two cards in one. One of them is obviously pretty inefficient, but still take that just about every time. So we've got a little bit of a card draw theme here as well. Pretty low power level. That card could be pretty neat, especially with things like Village Rites, Witch's Cauldron. Okay. Ormos, Archive Keeper. He's okay, I guess. Phyrexian Tower. Oh my. Okay. So, not a very highly synergistic combination here. There's a little bit of a card draw theme, but not too impressed, I would say, about the overall power level of what we rolled here. I do think it was probably better to go blue-red with spellcasting and well-read. That seemed like a much more synergistic combination, but I wanted to see what this would look like, so. Okay, keep this. Normally I would play the top lane first here, but seeing as we do have a 1-drop and no 2-drops here, I don't see any harm in going ahead and getting the Witch's Cauldron out. We can follow it up with the top lane this next turn. Hopefully, you know, it'll be efficient if we don't draw 2 drops. So, opponent is in the tank here as to whether or not they want a mulligan. And we're not really doing much here, to be honest with you. I guess Encyclopedia, if the board isn't getting flooded, Encyclopedia is going to be pretty neat. Get some card advantage going. This probably isn't a very good deck for Witch's Cauldron, to be honest with you. But, that'll be alright. He's pretty good. I don't know if I like him as much as Vampire Bloodletter, I think it is. 3 mana, 2/2 flyer. When it ETBs, you drain for 1. This one, A, requires it to die, which with 1 toughness is not necessarily a hard ask. But in the event that this stays on the board, you really just got a 3 mana 2/1. Not the end of the world by any means, but one toughness to me is always kind of a liability, kind of regardless of what the power is. There are so many effects that can just ping off one damage creatures, and getting something like a Goblin Arsonist, for example, getting your 3 mana spell picked off for something relatively free, I should say. It's always kind of a liability. So our opponent is here. They have decided to keep, but are certainly not playing at a breakneck pace. So I do like the Tameo though, she's pretty cool. And I guess while we have a moment here, I'm pretty excited for Zendikar Rising. I am really hoping that we get some Eldrazi, though I would imagine this specific set probably won't include Eldrazi. I have not read into it or anything like that, or done any research as to what's going to be included in the set. The Zendikar is a pretty neat set. I've always loved the lands that set has provided. So it looks like our opponent was not able to connect, or was having some connection issues there. So no harm done. Let's see what we picked up. Lightning Serpents. Huh. That's kind of neat. That's the first time I've ever seen +1/+0 counters. I wonder if that's a new thing, or if that card is old. Never actually seen it before, so I don't know, but... Alright, so kind of got a free win there, which is pretty sweet, because I imagine this deck probably going to struggle here a little bit. Okay, well, this definitely isn't a great hand, but we are on the play. Maybe that was a good opportunity to take a free mulligan. But one of the only really powerful cards in our deck is in our opening hand here. So we'll see what happens. We're not really doing anything. We've got a 3-mana 1/2. Our opponent is playing green, so certainly could be in trouble. Green-red. Oh yeah. So obviously you want to get rid of that thing basically as soon as possible here. I think this requires, it's 2 mana. Okay. Is this like a Domer's Ambush or something? I imagine he probably picked up the spellcasting packet. Yeah. If he's got like a shock, I would just use it now, honestly. Get your value here before I... Yeah, sure. So, pretty great start here from the opponent. This is going to be kind of difficult, I imagine, to deal with. Do I want to draw a card here? I think I'm alright to decline there. The 3/4 body should hopefully provide a suitable blocker. Our opponent is definitely getting an opportunity to just flood the board, and that's pretty unfortunate. Alright, so I do think I want to get a big enough butt here so that I can block this Canopy Stalker. We certainly want to hold on to the land. Kind of wish I had tapped. Well, I guess there was no way for me to know if I was going to draw a black source or not, but Yeah, I think pitching the Rune Survivor there is the Runed Servitor. So Fun has a little bit of a cat theme going here. Unfortunately, we don't draw land. And it's just absolutely flooding the board here. They want to get aggressive, which they opt not to. He really doesn't have much that I'm interested in blocking. That being said, I kind of want to just use my mana. So unfortunately we don't get a land drop. So we'll just get back onto the board here. Normally I would imagine the Dimir deck is advantaged the longer the game goes, but until I draw something to get rid of that young Pyromancer, I don't feel comfortable saying that we're in a good position. That being said, I feel a lot better about it now. So if he's got something like a turn to slag or something, I think I would rather just get this out. I'm hoping maybe we can bait some removal here, and I don't believe any of his creatures actually have flying, so I feel comfortable with him. We might take a heavy hit if he's got removal for the Kraken. Uh-oh. So he's opting to basically trade his two 1/1s here, which I think is okay. I definitely would trade a 1/1 there for a card, so I do think he made the right play. We did open ourselves up to shock there, which I guess is a little bit scary. I think I'll decline. I don't believe any of his creatures have reach. So we'll continue to get in there. And we're getting to a point now where even in the event that, you know, he goes like all out, if he doesn't have something like Burn Bright, we're okay to just make some blocks. We've got two really threatening creatures in the air now. Well, against an opponent that doesn't have reach. Okay, well this is definitely terrifying. Now if he's got a combat trick, he's gonna just flood the board with 1/1s. So I imagine he's most likely going to have Sure Strike. And if I'm playing around Sure Strike, what I can basically do is... There really aren't very many good blocks here, I guess. So if I'm playing around Sure Strike, then... Well, you know, the interesting thing is I could let some of this go through, right? Because if he casts Sure Strike, he'll get an additional 6 points of power. So that's 8, 9, 12, 15. So, okay, so it's exactly lethal. So I do need to block one thing. The double prowess, though, might also hurt. But even if it's double sure strike, no, I guess this doesn't do it, right? Because if you cast sure strike twice, right. Interesting. So I guess it wasn't sure strike. Maybe I tunnel visioned a little bit too hard there on worrying about that, but as of right now, if he doesn't commit something else to the board, given the fact that Canopy Stalker, I don't believe, can block. Oh no, I guess he can. That was pretty bad for me. Alright, so we're basically just trying to survive one extra turn here. Maybe Sure Strike wasn't the right play. I definitely was not considering a fight effect. Alright. So this is 6, 9, 10 damage. So you will gain some life. Definitely has drawn plenty of cards in his Gruul deck. Guess he didn't have a way to deal with the flyer, so squeaked that one out. Probably made a number of mistakes there, but the flyers got us there. It's a really neat card. Love anything with Liliana and zombies, so we'll take it. Alright, well, we got our 2 wins with that packet, so no need to continue with it. And we'll just keep moving forward here. Alright. Angels, believe we've done that one. I've not done Rainbow, and I have not done Enchanted. Rainbow seems kind of neat. Really like that Plains. Let's go with Enchanted here. That's a cool mountain. Guess I haven't actually picked up the dinos yet either. Let's go dinos. That seems like fun. But actually, let me see what we've got working. So I'll know what it is I'm looking for in my deck. So I see Archon, so that's always pretty sweet. Oh, and we got Galta. That's awesome. Celestial Mantle. Okay, it's pretty sweet. Okay. Love this card. I just love the art. It's kind of like reminds me of what is it? On Sarah's Wings. It was an enchantment in I think Dominaria. Love Blessed Spirits. Okay. It's pretty sweet. Okay. It's kind of a neat little Selesnya deck. We've got an enchantment theme and some big creatures. Saw a copy of Savage Stomp. Don't have a lot of removal. Also, our opponent's name is Venser. That's pretty sweet if you're a fan of MTG lore. So his hand is fine. It's nothing exciting, but it does allow us to curve out on the play, which is always good. I like Drover. It's a ramp target. It will also become a 3/3 when we play Dilophosaur. Not a huge fan of a Dilophosaur, honestly. It's alright, but not a very exciting 4-drop. I mean, a 4-mana 4/4 Death Toucher is fine in a Dino deck, but it's only actually when it attacks, so not a particularly exciting card. But Crushing Canopy has overperformed so far in Jumpstart. I'm playing an enchantment-based. Half of my deck is based on enchantments, and flyers, as you just saw in our last game, can certainly be an issue. So Canopy has almost never been a dead card, and in fact has kind of overperformed, I would say, by a pretty large margin on a lot of the games here. Not a huge fan of playing the tap land. I think I'd rather just play the Dilophosaur. So we'll still have access to 4 mana next turn if we need it. And I would rather just make my Drover a 2 mana 3/3, excuse me. So certainly running a risk of running this into a pump spell. Yep. But luckily it was an enchantment-based pump spell. So he still gets a card out of it, so it's not exactly like a 2-for-1 necessarily, but I still think it was the right play. It's kind of scary that he is running that enchantment-based. It is a little scary that he's running the enchantment-based pump, because those can be difficult to deal with, and I just spent my enchantment removal on that. I think I'm okay making this attack. Opponent decides to take it, which is interesting. I don't think they'll be running discard effects in green-red. And the 3/4 seems pretty nice. Alright. It's not great. It's a pretty sweet card actually, but not the end of the world. I think we're comfortable trading the Initiate's Companion for both of his creatures. It's not terribly exciting, but what it does allow us to do is clear the way for something like Blessed Spirits. I guess Blessed Spirits has flying, so we don't really need to clear the way, but this way if he plays like one giant threat, we can just beat it up. This to me kind of screams removal and or a flash creature of some sort. As a result, I think I'm just going to attack with the flyer. There it is. So the reason I'm doing this is because if he's got removal, which it didn't look like he had, but if he had removal, I don't want to kind of put all of my eggs in one basket in terms of, in terms of throwing the 1/1 counter on the Blessed Spirits. Fortunately, didn't really matter. This kind of forces him into potentially blocking into... That's just really unfortunate, actually, that he had the removal there for Blessed Spirits. Nature's Way has kind of gotten me twice now. It's unfortunate, but... So opponent, I guess, is in the tank as to whether or not he wants to quadruple block the Shieldmate. We do have two cards in our hand, and there's perfectly fine chance that one of these could be a combat trick. He could honestly be looking up my deck list. I'm sure by now all of these are public, so he could actually see if I have a combat trick even in my list of 40 here. So he ends up opting not to. Oh my, that's unfortunate. I'm flooding out a little bit here. So we're not really interested in playing Forced Worship here into the Sovereign. Now we are, though. Fortunately, it looks like he immediately draws a removal. It's pretty frustrating, but not much we can do about it, I guess. Once again, top decking Crushing Canopy still seems to be an absolutely back-breaking play. Whatever, Brontodon here. I'm not going to be picky about it. What a Crushing Canopy. Guess that's just magic, though. Oh, it's a cat. Oh my. So opponent is essentially just going to draw a billion cards here if he decides to swing out. I'm not sure that he does. If I were him, I probably would. He gets to draw the card from the keeper because I would either have to decide between getting rid of the keeper and kind of cutting off his card draw engine. But if I do that, he's going to draw anywhere from 3 to 4 cards with his goblins. On the other hand, I could potentially... Okay, so he opts not to do it anyways, so not a huge deal. So the reason why I made that play is I want to keep the keeper from being able to attack. This way, if he wants to swing out with all of his other creatures, he gets to draw a card, assuming he hasn't drawn any combat tricks, but we'll be able to eat up most of the things he attacks with. So pretty tight game here. Opponent has drawn some pretty timely removal, which is definitely annoying. Yeah, I'm just not sure that we can come back from this. Yeah, I think we'll give that one up. You know, crushing canopy as soon as we hit our bomb, in response to getting another constellation trigger, as well as having Nature's Way. Opponent just kind of had it all that game. But Keeper has been really neat. We've seen it twice already today, and it kind of just always seems to do the trick. It's a really, really cool card. Wasn't, from my recollection, this is a great hand, wasn't, from my recollection, all that crazy in the set it came out in, and to be honest with you, I want to say it was like Throne of Eldraine, but I could be wrong. Yeah, maybe it was one of the core sets, now that I think about it, but was certainly a really, really cool card. I think just in the limited environment that it was in, there were other really powerful late-game creatures. To be honest with you, I'm not sure. But certainly a cool card, and it's been kind of neat, even though we've been on the receiving end, to see it pop off. Also, Volley Better in there. That has also been another card that has just kind of kicked my butt as of recent. So I think I like this. The reason why is because it allows me to swing in here with the Pteranodon this turn. I guess that was just enough. Opponent was not happy about that. Low Strider. It's a little unfortunate. I'm pretty sure I already have 4 of those, but it is what it is. Which is kind of interesting, actually, because, and it's possible that I don't have 4 of them, but I thought that they kind of provided, I wouldn't call it duplicate protection, but in an effort to kind of avoid getting additional copies of cards you already have 4 of, I was under the impression that they Yeah, we keep this. I was under the impression that they attempted at least to make it so that you were supposed to get those cards farther back. Now I understand these are like ICRs, the rewards or whatever, but still pretty annoying. But I guess that's just the way it's always been, right? Even on the FNMs, I can't remember the last time I got anything up to just like the 500 gold. But anyways, in terms of this game, Gifted Aetherborn, one of my favorite, absolute favorite cards coming out of Kaladesh. The Aetherborn are some of my absolute favorite creature types. Wow, that's pretty cool. I like that. So, we're in a bit of a situation here. Okay, that's pretty cool. Sure, I think this is good enough to get rid of, especially while our opponent's tapped down. We definitely don't win this race, but I guess if we're not blocking with it, we might as well swing with it, right? And maybe we are supposed to just block here. Opponent could have something like a Ghost Light, just bounce his creature back, which would be unfortunate, but... Alright, well that's not good. This is definitely a risky play here. I like the fact that it gives me vigilance, though. This is certainly not a race we're winning yet, but we do have some more enchantments and things that will hopefully kind of get us there. These flyers are certainly getting to be pretty difficult to deal with. That's a little unfortunate. So I guess we'll use this on the vampire. It represents more damage. Still not in a great position by any means, but Blue-Black Flyers is definitely one of my favorite like archetypes. I actually think I like it normally more than Blue-White. It's just a lot of fun. And against Green-White big boys on the ground, it definitely... Oh my. Oh, we're in trouble.
This isn't my first time being the hero.
Yeah, not sure what we're supposed to do, but Mr. T here. Says he doesn't even need the Tolarian Kraken there. So he's just not scared of anything, I guess. Yeah, I'm not really sure I see a way out of this one. You could just phase me out. I'm kind of hoping maybe I can at least trade it for the vampire or something. Well, I don't see a good way for us to have won out of that game, anyways. Even if we draw Galta the very next turn, between the scries from the Chimera and Teferi getting to just bounce anything we play, I really didn't see a way out of that one. It would have required an incredible amount of luck and patience, which I just do not currently have, I guess. Oh, this is pretty sweet with Pteranodon. A little low on lands here, but hopefully we can draw out. I do like Indomitable Will and Pteranodon. That's a pretty sweet one. Alright, so now the lands would be really, really cool. Oh, I remember him from Amonkhet. He's cool. He's really neat. Especially with some of the ferocious cards that have been printed recently. You know, there are some ways to make the discard a positive. Now, if he wants to trade the Brawler for this, I'm fine with it. This is basically a 2-for-1. He already pitched a card to play the Brawler. It looks like he's in duel. It's a little unfortunate, but obviously we can't complain hitting the land there. We absolutely needed it. We're also really, really glad that he used his removal there. What is this guy? Well, that's pretty cool. So we'll see how many cards he's drawn off of this Herald's Horn, which I think is so cool. Oh man, and he hit one on the first turn. That's brutal. Absolutely brutal. And they do cost one less. So I think if he does, unless he has something like Plummet, we should be okay here. Alright, so I kind of just want to get as many creatures as possible. Guess this has Flash. But if I use this, Yeah, I guess since it has flash, we can just hold up. We can hold it up in response to something like a Domer's Ambush or a Nature's Way or something like that. So he's already drawn one card off of the horn. Looks like he didn't get it there. So this is the exact scenario we had just talked about. That'll make him a 5/4. Alright, so that worked out really well for us. We'll go ahead and let him get in there. We're not losing this race anytime soon. And so now we can actually play the Brontodon as well. I think here we're just going to go ahead and play this now. Yeah. There was no way our opponent was going to win that race. He'd have to now deal with 3 flyers, all of which have lifelink. Okay. I think I remember Seth talking about that card actually. It's one of the only cards, I guess, that is able to cast instants and sorceries for free, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. Let's run through one more here. See what we got going. Alright, so I have not chosen Walls or Chandra yet.
When people start screaming,
So we'll get Chandra here. Doctor's interesting. Devilish seems pretty sweet. Go a little mono red action. We've already taken tree hugging, so let's go mono red. Let's see what we've got. Chandra's Incinerator, sweet. That card's pretty busted. I love Chandra. So we got one of the new Chandras, Havoc Jester, Pitch Burn. Oh yeah. That's a pretty sweet card. Has his flames. Guy even got Young Pyromancer, which is pretty sweet. Magma. Yeah, we're in a good spot here. I definitely am looking forward to the Pyromancer decks that I'm sure will come up in Historic here. And we're on the play. We're in a good spot. Definitely keep this. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the lands from this set. I think they look kind of goofy. I guess the border for the lands is neat. It's just so different than the actual art on the card that it just doesn't really... Huh. So I don't really like playing Forge Devil here because, if I'm not mistaken, this is not a May ability. So I don't actually have a way of... Like, I'll have to sacrifice a creature, I guess, if I cast that. I don't feel comfortable playing that right now. From what I can tell from this card, I have to do the 1 damage. In that case, I'm basically just getting rid of either Forge Devil or Firebrand. Now, that is something I feel great about. Couldn't ask for a better target here. It's a little ugly in the sense that we didn't get to play our Chaos Rider here. So we could certainly be running this into a flash creature, but it doesn't look like it. We'll pass here. Maybe he was holding up counter magic. I'd rather just play Dance with the Devils at instant speed here. I think I'm just going to do this now in case he does have access to counter magic. I would much rather get a spell resolved than no spells, essentially. And this kind of forces him a little bit to tap out, I feel like, on his turn to get some blockers going. So I kind of like the cards I have in my hand right now, so I think I'm just going to hold up Heartfire. We'll see if this resolves. I would much rather the Havoc Jester get resolved than this guy. Alright, so it looks like he gets resolved anyways. If the opponent is going to do something, they need to do it, because we are about to get pretty far ahead on board here. Wow, alright, so the opponent already pitches a card. To get rid of our Devil. This allows us to respond, hit him for another 4 damage. If he wants to counter that, he's more than welcome to. So that was a nice little, I guess, 2-for-1 in a way. Kind of, I mean, we did have to sacrifice a creature there, but not a huge deal. Yeah, I think we just want to put as much pressure as possible. Maybe that wasn't a great play, but so this turn, I'll just make him sack his Larcenist. Play the Torch Fiend. Pass the turn. He's going to have to find an answer for the Jester here. Alright, well that is just insane. That should be the game. So that was a pretty insane top deck. We just had the opponent under a lot of pressure. Even when they kind of attempted to do something, we had the answers immediately. So very lucky on our end, but we won't complain. It's kind of neat. I think I just like the 5-mana 2/2 better. Tender Shoe Dryad. Saplings are a pretty fun tribal deck. I loved Slimefoot and Dominaria, even in Constructed. It wasn't the best deck by any means, but it was still a lot of fun. Pillar of Flame is pretty cool. Let's take this. So opponent got access to their second color there. We'll find out. I guess it's blue, right? Yeah. So opponent is on green-blue. We've got all the lands we're going to need for the rest of the game, so no need to draw any more deck. Seems like a pretty good pillar target. Okay, well that's pretty annoying. So I've opted not to deal with these flyers. I want to see maybe if he's got something with 3 toughness that I need to deal with. And then take this. Our deck is pretty interested in racing, so okay, well that's pretty sweet. Alright, well we are off to the races here. Ghost Light is unfortunate. Not the end of the world, but still unfortunate. So given the fact that this is sorcery speed, we'll go ahead and submit 2. We'll deal 2 to the Ghost Light. One to them. Get in there. And then hopefully Hungry Flames can kind of carry us home. Sure. Dreadmaw's pretty unfortunate. Not the end of the world though. We are still in a pretty good position, I would say. Yeah, so I think we're gonna just do this. Obviously, I would like to get rid of the Dreadmaw, but okay. So maybe he gets rid of this and this. Certainly not ideal. But we get to pick off the flyer here as well. Although brooms is annoying. We'll go with the devils here. It's definitely a close game here. I mean, if he's got like a bounce spell or something, we're in some trouble. So I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play this first. If he's got his counter magic or whatever, I would have much rather he used it there. This is an instant. So I don't think there's a way he can deal with all of these triggers. Alright, so we got there. It was a close race. Collateral damage is pretty sweet. I think I like that more than I like Lightning Axe. Picked up the Oracle. And yeah, so Jumpstart continues to be a lot of fun, something that I've really enjoyed. It's a little unfortunate there's no real way to get your resources back. You're just kind of paying the 400 gems or 2,000 gold for 2 rares. But to be fair, that is what you would pay for packs otherwise. And you do get, assuming you're picking up packs that you haven't already had, they do add those cards to your collection, which is pretty sweet. And, so you get multiple rares. You get more than what would come in a pack otherwise. And then you also, in addition to that, get access to the rares from Jumpstart. So, still pretty efficient, even if, there's no real way to get your money back. But definitely been a lot of fun. It's been a really nice break, in my opinion, from kind of a stale constructed format, in my opinion, which is always going to be the case when you're kind of right before rotation. These cards have been in the format for years, so it or at least the heavy offenders have been in the format for a long time. So this Jumpstart came at a great time, in my opinion, and it's been a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon.